This is running on a Quest 3 and I still don't believe it. I've played a lot of VR, but these games made me stop and just stare for a second. If you think Quest visuals haven't evolved, you haven't seen these. Here are a few Quest 3 games that just look and feel way too good for standalone VR. First up, let's talk a brand new game you can play a free demo of Lies and Rain. Of Lies and Rain is a free demo for an upcoming game you can play right now in the Quest store. I'll put a link down in the description. This is a story-based game that takes place in a futuristic dystopian universe where a sentient AI of some kind has taken over and you're trying to fight against it. What blew me away immediately in this game was just the sheer scale and size of everything happening from the first opening moment of this game, even down to the details in the environment. Now this is an indie developed game. This isn't even a big budget game, and look what indie games can accomplish now on the Quest 3 with the power that's there. You're getting lightning flashes that light up the environment, you're getting lighting even if it's baked on the walls when something happens, you're getting lots of things happening on screen at the same time, environments that look fantastic. I would keep an eye on Of Lies and Rain if you're looking for something really cool to play that is totally unique and not from a big studio. But it's absolutely not the only game you should be checking out if you want something that is large scale and looks great on the Quest 3. Next up, let's talk about a game called Resist. Resist is an indie title developed by the same people that made Gun Club. And this game was a shadow drop several years ago, and it's had Quest 3 updates that add reflections and lighting, and it's just an incredible, incredible visual feast if you have not tried it out. On top of that though, this game is an open world city where you can just go around the entire city. It kind of feels like Spider-Man in the sense that you're going to be swinging around the city using grappling hooks, fighting against giant robot enemies with a very interesting story on top of that. This game, when it first launched on Quest 2, already didn't feel possible. And now that it's had these awesome visual updates, it feels even better than it ever did on the Quest 2. If you haven't tried out Resist, I highly, highly recommend looking into this, especially if you're a fan of superhero or robot combat style games where you're gonna try to fight against a giant robot as a small human being. So far we've talked about hidden gems, but let's bring one of the big ones to the forefront, and that is Assassin's Creed Nexus. This game is a full, true Assassin's Creed game. It may not be the most visually stunning game on the Quest. Although the environments are great, everything is extremely detailed, and everything just looks really nice in Assassin's Creed Nexus. But it's not that really blew my mind and makes this feel like it's not a Quest 3 game. It's the environments, it's the in-depth nature of everything that happens around you, being able to interact with the crowds themselves. There's so many NPCs in this game, it feels like a living, breathing place. The locations are amazing. Whether you're talking about Italy or you're talking about Boston Harbor, the story is obviously fantastic because it's written by the same people that wrote Assassin's Creed, and it incorporates some incredible interactions into the game. From flicking your wrist to open the hidden blade, to even being able to pick up your hood and put it on, or even spin weapons to spin your sword or your axe around. Assassin's Creed Nexus feels too big and too grand to be a Quest 3 game, but it is, and it's a fantastic one if you haven't played it at that. Let's jump backwards a little bit and talk some more about an indie game. This indie game is called Hubris, and this launched on PC VR with one of the most visually stunning games I'd ever played on PC VR. And when it came to Quest 2, it looked pretty good, but when it actually got that Quest 3 update, it may not look like PC VR, but it looks really nice on the Quest 3. There's a lot going on the screen, the water looks nice, the textures and the environments look really good. This is another futuristic sci-fi story narrative game that has a lot going for it when it comes to the story and some unique elements to it. But if you're looking for something that has some cool environments, has some really awesome swimming and water and even some climbing, and then you've got combat and it's got a whole story going on, I definitely recommend looking at Hubris, because even though it may not be as visually stunning as the PC VR version, it still does look very, very nice. Speaking of looking very nice, I have to mention this game is probably still the best looking game on Quest, and that is Red Matter 2. Red Matter 2 is the standard when it comes to playing games on the Quest 3 for something visually stunning. It not only looks fantastic, it plays amazingly, it's got a great story that allows you to solve puzzles and really immerse yourself in these environments, and It's got real-time shadows, crazy lighting effects. It's literally stunning just to play through, even if you're just playing to see the visuals. I'm not going to belabor the point because it's been talked about to death, but Red Matter 2 100% needs to be on this list. I'm also going to mention one more that needs to be on this list, but not talk about it a lot because I've talked about it a lot recently, and that is Ghost Town, obviously. It's a fantastic looking game. The scale is huge. It's a little short. I wish it was a little longer, and it's not necessarily in depth when it comes to interactions. The puzzles are pretty simple, but if you're looking for a feast of visuals, I would get Ghost Town for sure on the Quest 3. Visuals aren't necessarily everything when it comes to creating a super immersive experience that feels like it's not on the Quest 3, and that is why Asgard's Wrath 2 deserves to be on this list. And that's not to say that Asgard's Wrath 2 doesn't look fantastic. It actually has some moments where it just looks stunning. It's the art style, though, with the art style being what it is and all of the massive environments and elements being there, it feels amazing. But it isn't just that makes it feel so good. It's moments like in the beginning where you fight against that eagle and it throws you across the ice, or when you fight against some of the bosses, or you traverse the landscape riding your mount. This game is not only the largest scale game and the longest game on Quest, coming in between 60 and 100 hours worth of content, it also feels the most like a true AAA epic game that doesn't deserve to be on the Quest 3. And that alone is mind-blowing. Speaking of mind-blowing, last year Batman Arkham Shadow blew my mind when it comes to a game that not only looks fantastic, but plays like a true AAA game and includes a story that'll keep you thinking about it afterwards. Batman Arkham Shadow is one of the best titles on Quest, bar none, and I think if you haven't played it, which you probably have if you have a Quest 3 or Quest 3S, it was free for a lot of people that purchased those in recent months since it launched, so if you haven't played it, I recommend looking into it, but Batman Arkham Shadow plays, looks, and feels way too good to be on the Quest 3. Next, we've got another game that launched last year, and that is Metro Awakening. Metro Awakening, even though it's not one of the most visually stunning games on this list, does a lot that makes a game feel like it's just too big for the Quest 3. The environments aren't massive by any sense of the imagination because a lot of them are claustrophobic, but the way that you interact with the environments, even down to how they look and some of the shadows in the game and the lighting and the creep factor and the story and just the overall campaign of the game, it feels like a true AAA epic game, and it feels like it should be playing on something like the PlayStation VR 2 or on PC VR. In fact, it does play on those and looks fantastic, but it plays on the Quest 3 as well, and it looks pretty darn good doing it, and the game itself is completely the same when it comes to all three platforms, meaning that this epic game that everyone loves on those other platforms deserves a chance on the Quest 3 if you haven't played it, because it's that good. It's an amazing game with a great story, and I'm still blown away by how they got this working on the Quest 3. All right, there you go. There's a handful plus of Quest 3 games that just don't have any right to be playing native on the Quest 3. Let me know what you think down in the comments. These games all blew my mind in one way or another, and there are many other games that have done the same, so I'll probably do a follow-up video in the future just giving you even more things that you should be checking out that just don't deserve, or I guess shouldn't be on the Quest 3, or at least shouldn't be possible. Let me know what you think down in the comments. What games do you think are explosive, mind-blowing, and amazing games that just somehow fit on the Quest 3? Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give a thumbs up so that more people see this video, and as always, happy questing.